I don't recall anyone else having it. It's this, if you go back to 1984, which is when we first introduced it, which is now, wow, 1984. Is that 35? That's 35 years ago. So that's when we first introduced CoQ10, 35 years ago. And most folks encountered it in, say, the last 5, 10, 15 years or so. I brought it to television here about, I'd say a little over 20 years ago when we brought it on television. But Coenzyme Q10, it's perhaps right there with Healthy Hair, Skin, and Nails as our most popular product, our most popular reorder product. It's a product that goes to the very sort of core, the very foundation of our existence. Yeah. Because our ability to exist is basically driven by energy. When we think about our heart beating, our heart is beating to circulate blood throughout our body, which provides nutrients and oxygen so our cells can do what? Produce energy. And each and every one of our cells is responsible for their own independent energy. It's, you know, in our homes and things and a building here, this is a distributed energy system where there's a central source of energy that distributes that energy elsewhere. In our body, it's amazing to think about this. We have all these trillions and trillions and trillions of cells in our body. Each and every one of them is independently responsible for their own energy. And the quality of our life, the quality of our existence, the presence or absence of fatigue is the collective result of that energetic experience that those trillions of cells are experiencing. So each one of those cells needs to get the nutrients they require, the fuel they require, the oxygen they require to engage in the metabolism that delivers the energy that hopefully you experience in a positive way. And CoQ10, if you look at that energy production process on a cellular level, and when you break it all down, it involves the movement of electrons. And there's no molecule more central to that movement of electrons than coenzyme Q10. So that's why I said it's the very foundation, the very core of existence, because it goes to the energy we all experience as our existence. Without energy, we are not existing.
Extra special savings of what we've got tonight as well, just to show you the 30 caps is available, 60, 120 or 240. If you go for that larger size down here, significant savings down from 89 to 64 and change. That saves you 25. And the 240 is down from just shy of 160 to 109.90. That saves you $50. Don't be without your CoQ10, especially this time of year as we kind of have all those New Year's resolutions. We need the energy to help meet them. One of the things that I was complaining of was fatigue. And I know for so many of us that is a big struggle every single day, because Andrew, if you're fatigued, you don't have that kind of get up and go that you need.
Well, I think if you're fatigued, we tend to not make good decisions, number one. And this time of year, we're trying to make good decisions, whether it's going to be a decision about, and it's easy to think, oh, okay, if we don't have enough energy, okay, we're not going to exercise, the things we might want to do. But for me, I tend to make really bad decisions when it comes to food when I'm tired.
There you go.
When I'm tired and cranky, You're
susceptible.
I just don't make as good a decision as I would otherwise. So really supporting our adequate energy level, and it's a process. We can't expect to swallow a capsule. We can't expect to start a new lifestyle at the beginning of the year, whatever it might be, and that it magically transforms our life, and then all of a sudden it's easy to maintain because instantly and magically we felt better. It usually doesn't work that way. Whether it's changes in our diet or changes in our lifestyle, it usually takes a few weeks before they become habits, before they become behaviors, and before they really feel good. Initially, change is difficult, but good change ultimately and eventually delivers the benefits that we seek. We just, again, have to be patient and persist once again. But with CoQ10, I was going to read a couple of charts here that are sort of fascinating on CoQ10. Again, we talked about how it's the core of existence, it's energy. And again, if we look at all our key organs, and as we get older, our key organs gradually don't function as well as they did. Cardiac output isn't as good as it was. Our liver, our kidneys function is gradually, even in normal healthy individuals, gradually is reduced over time. But if we think about energy as being the determining factor in how well these organs function, then again, it goes without saying that we need to support energy production on a cellular level. And there's no better way to do it. There's no more direct way to do it than with CoQ10. And if just this one interesting chart here from a journal called Current Neurovascular Research, it was reported that animals supplemented on CoQ10 may reach a significantly longer mean lifespan, 11.7% higher, a significantly higher maximum lifespan, 24% higher, and increased learning capacity than non-supplemented animals, suggesting that a long-term supplementation with a small dosage of CoQ10 may represent a good anti-aging strategy.
Wow.
So, and we are just animals. We're really clever, but
it's true.
We share lots of things with our best friends, our dogs and cats. From the American Journal of Cardiovascular Drugs, and this is what's incredibly important to understand. When we take a statin drug, I think the most popular prescribed drugs in America right now are cholesterol-lowering statin drugs. Right. Also antidepressants, also drugs for osteoporosis, osteopenia, things like bisphosphonates. All of these drugs, specifically statin drugs I'll speak to now, reduce our body's ability to make CoQ10.
Right.
Our body's ability to make CoQ10 becomes limited with age anyhow, so supplementation becomes wise. But if we're taking any of those classes of incredibly popular drugs, we are impairing that synthesis, not just a little, but very significantly. As we say here from the American Journal of Cardiovascular Drugs, HMG-CoA reductase inhibitors, statin drugs, the best-selling prescription drug class in the US, including atorvastatin, Lipitor, the best-selling prescription drug in the world. Statins inhibit the enzyme HMG-CoA reductase at a stage early in the mevalonate pathway. This pathway generates a range of other products in addition to cholesterol, such as CoQ10. So when you inhibit cholesterol production, you're inhibiting CoQ10 synthesis. From Medical Science Monitor, statins inhibit cholesterol synthesis, and the biosynthesis of CoQ10 is also reduced, since CoQ10 is an intermediate in the mevalonate pathway. So, and this applies not just to statin drugs, but to wide-ranging classes of drugs. Statins were shown to reduce serum plasma levels of CoQ10 by 16 to 54%, which is outrageous.
Significant, yeah.
And CoQ10 supplementation was reported to increase the levels of CoQ10 in plasma. And one capsule, 200 milligrams, is all you need to overcome the statins. Follow your cardiologist, your doctor's advice. From Critical Reviews in Food Science and Nutrition, and I have a few dozen charts that talk about this with drugs and lowering CoQ10. It's been shown that the endogenous synthesis of CoQ10 is inhibited by cholesterol-lowering drugs, statins, which inhibit mevalonate biosynthesis, and supplementation has therefore been suggested for some of their users. I would say if you're taking a statin drug or any of these other drugs, you need to talk to your doctor, because those drugs interfere with CoQ10 synthesis, and we all, it's not a discussion, it's not open for discussion, we all need CoQ10 or we can't produce energy at all.
Natural, non-synthetic, with none of the bad stuff, none of the fillers, the binders, the lubricants, all of the things that are in so many of the products that we see out there in the marketplace. If you'd like to order, we're gearing up for our today's special launch. Our CoQ10 is also on special pricing tonight. So as you can see, regular HSN down to special saves you more money. And with that flex pay, it makes it affordable. A lot of people comment about that all the time. They say, okay, well, I want to get the omega-3 product, and I want to get the CoQ10 product, and I might get the secure meal replacement. You can do all of those on FlexPay, which makes it easy and affordable to get it home. Nobody has more of an eye for quality and perfection, following the science and the facts than Andrew does. And that's why all of these products are so well received. The benefits of cinnamon today, our pricing wonderful again, a special purchase. But when we say cinnamon,